Well, hello there. Today on this video, I'm going to show you 6 awesome places near Seattle, Washington that you may not know of. These are places that are certain not to disappoint. The first awesome place in the area surrounding Seattle, Washington that you may not have heard of is Snoqualmie Falls. For driving directions, take Interstate 90 east from Seattle, about 30 minutes, and take State Road 18 north, follow the signs. Snoqualmie Falls is a 268-foot waterfall in the northwest United States, located east of Seattle on the Snoqualmie River, between Snoqualmie and Falls City, Washington. It is one of Washington's most popular scenic attractions and is known internationally for its appearance in the television series Twin Peaks. More than 1.5 million visitors come to see the falls every year, where there is a 2-acre park, an observation deck and gift shop, and a trail in the surrounding lands. Most of the river is diverted into the power plants, but even still, the river flow is high enough that it is extremely impressive with an almost blinding spray up from the 270-foot waterfall. High water occurs following heavy rains or snow melt, and the flow can vary from mildly impressive to tremendous. During the high water, the falls take on a curtain form. The top of the waterfall is less than 100 yards from the parking lot, which has a gift shop, espresso stand, and bathrooms. The main views are from the side of the falls, with a fence separating visitors from the edge of the cliff. This area has picnic tables and benches and a small grassy meadow called the Centennial Green, where weddings are performed throughout the summer. Here the river trail descends 374 feet in 7/10 of a mile, passing through temperate rainforest with moss-covered big-leaf maple, Douglas fir, sword fern, and salal, and places to step off the trail and rest or enjoy the scenery. Heavy use makes wildlife sightings uncommon. The park does allow pets. At the bottom of the trail is the 1910 powerhouse, but it's not open to visitors. There's also an impressive view of the falls from the river below, along the trail. Snoqualmie Falls is also free. There's no admission, and it's about a 30-mile drive east from the city of Seattle. The next awesome place in the area surrounding Seattle, Washington, that you may not have heard of is Mount Rainier National Park. For driving directions to Mount Rainier National Park to the Skyline Trail, take Interstate 5 south to exit 142A. Head east on the state roads, eventually ending up on State Road Washington 410, and follow the signs. It's about 90 miles southeast of Seattle. Mount Rainier National Park is an American national park located southeast of Seattle. The park was established March the 2nd, 1899 as the 4th national park in the United States, preserving nearly 250,000 acres, including all of Mount Rainier, a 14,400-foot stratovolcano. The mountain rises abruptly from the surrounding land, with elevations in the park ranging from 1,600 feet to over 14,000. Mount Rainier is the highest point in the Cascade Mountain Range. People who've never visited Seattle before, when they arrive, one of the things that they notice right away is that there's a mountain that has nearly 3 miles of prominence, not that far away from Seattle. It just looms over the city. John Muir, one of the people who urged the founding of the national park, Mount Rainier National Park, in 1899, was a big fan of the area which is now called the Skyline Trail. The Skyline Trail is the main route for hiking out of the so-called Paradise Visitor Center on Mount Rainier's south side. It is the most popular destination in Mount Rainier National Park, providing visitors with a unique opportunity to experience the breathtaking beauty, including all of Washington's grandest mountain. Even before the historic Paradise Inn was constructed in 1916, the Paradise Valley has long been one of the state's most beloved hiking destinations because of its southern exposure, giving it a longer season for hiking than its north side of the mountain counterpart, Sunrise Visitor Center. In peak season, July and August, your trip along the Skyline Trail will be filled with views of cascading waterfalls, mighty glaciers and subalpine meadows, brimming with colorful splashes of lupines, mountain heather, scarlet paintbrush, and cascade asters. The next awesome place in the area surrounding Seattle, Washington, that you may not have heard of is Pike Place Market. For driving directions, it's overlooking Elliott Bay waterfront on Puget Sound. Pike Place Market is a public market in Seattle, Washington. It opened in 1907 as one of the oldest continuously operated public farmers markets in the United States. It serves as a place of business for many small farmers, craftsmen, and merchants, as well as fishermen. It is named for the central street, Pike Place, which runs northwest from Pike Street to Virginia Street on the western edge of downtown Seattle. Pike Place Market is Seattle's most popular tourist destination and the 33rd most visited tourist attraction in the world, with more than 10 million annual visitors. The market is built on the edge of a steep hill and consists of several lower levels located below the main level. Each features a variety of unique shops, such as antique dealers, comic book and collectible shops, small family-owned restaurants. The upper street level contains fishmongers, fresh produce stands, and craft stalls operating in the covered arcades. Local farmers and craftsmen sell year-round in the arcades from tables they rent from the market on a daily basis, in accordance with the market's mission and founding goal, allowing consumers to meet the producer. Pike Place Market is home to nearly 500 residents who live in 8 different buildings throughout the market. Most of these buildings have been low-income housing in the past. However, some of them no longer are, such as Livingston Baker Apartments. The market is run by quasi-government Pike Place Market Preservation and Development Authority. Pike Place Market is uniquely Seattle, and it's definitely a one-off. It's a great place for visitors who would just like to experience a slice of Seattle culture. Some excellent seafood or other kinds of food is available in restaurants in the Pike Place Market, and certainly all sorts of crafted goods and fresh food is available there. If you're visiting Seattle, you definitely should give it a spin. Well worth a few hours. The next awesome place in the area surrounding Seattle, Washington, that you may not have heard of is Seattle Aquarium. For driving directions, located on Pier 59 on the Elliott Bay waterfront. The Seattle Aquarium is a public aquarium in Seattle, Washington. The Seattle Aquarium has approximately 830,000 annual visitors. The exhibits include Window on Washington Waters, which is meant to replicate the coastal waters of Washington State, including salmon, rockfish, and sea anemones. There's a crashing waves exhibit, which is a 40-foot wave tank that replicates Washington shores from the intertidal zone to a depth of about 5 feet. There's another exhibit called Life on the Edge, which was opened in 2002. It's 2 large exhibit pools that include touch zones, which allow visitors to see the tide pool life in Washington's outer coast. Then there's the Life of a Drifter, which includes 12-foot high glass donut where visitors can be surrounded by moon jellyfish and multi-species display featuring giant Pacific octopus and 13-foot touch table where visitors can view some of the area's drifting wildlife, including juvenile rockfish, sea stars, and plankton. There's another exhibit called Pacific Coral Reef, which is a man-made coral reef in a 25,000-gallon tank that contains fish that live in and around reefs. Another exhibit is called Ocean Oddities, which is an exhibit displaying pine cone fish, cowfish, flying gurnards, pot-bellied seahorses, and short dragonfish. Another exhibit is called Birds and Shores, which consists of 3 separate areas. Northwest Shores is an area which shows birds in a variety of habitats of the coastal Northwest. Another exhibit is Marine Mammals exhibit, which has harbor seals, northern fur seals, sea otters, and river otters. Another exhibit is the Puget Sound fish. Fish included in the tank are grunt sculpins, Pacific spiny lumpsuckers, midshipman fish, canary rockfish, wolf eels. Last but not least is the exhibit, the Underwater Dome. The tank exhibits species that would be found in Puget Sound. The next awesome place in the area surrounding Seattle, Washington, that you may not have heard of is Pacific Crest Trail Goat Rocks Wilderness section. Use Google Maps on your phone to navigate to the Pacific Crest Trail trailhead, Forest Road 88, the Trout Lake Trailhead. Use Google Maps on your phone to navigate to the Pacific Crest Trail White Pass Trailhead. The Pacific Crest Trail is considered to be the crown jewel of the West Coast hikes, stretching roughly 2,650 miles from Mexico to Canada. It spans the entire length of California, Oregon, and Washington, passing through 26 national forests, 7 national parks, 5 state parks, and 33 federally mandated wilderness areas. Despite being slightly longer than the Appalachian Trail, the PCT has a similar completion rate. The Pacific Crest Trail Association estimates that 700 to 800 people attempt to through hike it each year, and only about 15% actually succeed. Between 1 and 200 people. The Pacific Crest Trail takes about 5 months to hike if you hike all 2,650 miles. But if you only carve off about less than 100 miles, you can actually do it in a week. And whereas finding 5 months to spare is somewhat difficult for most people, finding a week to spare, most people can do, a week to 10 days. It's generally recognized that 2 of the most beautiful areas on the Pacific Crest Trail is the Sierra Nevada Mountains and the Goat Rocks Wilderness. The Sierra Nevada Mountains are in California, and the Goat Rocks Wilderness is in southern Washington. The Goat Rocks Wilderness is about 90 miles between trailheads. The South Entry trailhead is at Trout Lake, and White Pass is the northern trailhead, and it's about 90 miles in between those 2 trailheads. This particular section gets its good reputation from the beauty of the rugged mountains along this route, with Gilbert Peak, Mount Adams, Mount St. Helens, and Mount Rainier being 4 examples of the beautiful, rugged, mountainous terrain that can be seen along this route. The views along the route are unique and amazing, and I highly recommend it. The next awesome place in the area surrounding Seattle, Washington, that you may not have heard of is Woodland Park Zoo. Woodland Park Zoo is a wildlife conservation organization and zoological garden located in Phinney Ridge neighborhood of Seattle, Washington, about 5 miles north of downtown on Washington Highway 99. Tickets cost $29 per person for adults and $18 per person for children. Open to the public daily, it received 1 million visitors in 2006. Its collection includes 1,090 animal specimens, 300 animal species, 35 endangered and 5 threatened animal species, 7,000 trees, 50,000 plus shrubs and herbs, 1,000 plus plant species. There are several exhibits in the Woodland Park Zoo. There's a Tropical Asia, which is the zoo's largest section, focusing on South and Southeast Asia, and is split into 3 areas. There's an Africa savanna section, which houses animals native to the grasslands of Africa. The largest exhibit in this area is herbivores, home to giraffes, zebras, and ostrich. There's an Australasia exhibit, which is home to the zoo's Australian species. There's an outdoor exhibit shared by emu, common wallaroo, and redneck wallaby. There's the living Northwest Trail habitat. There's a tropical rainforest exhibit which explores animals of South America and Africa's jungles. The South American section has a jaguar exhibit. The African section contains western lowland gorillas, ring-tailed lemurs, red-ruffed lemurs, and colobus monkeys. There's a temperate forest exhibit which showcases creatures of the world's temperate woodlands. Exhibits include southern pudu, red panda, Chilean flamingo, red-crowned cranes, white-naped cranes, maned wolves, and a wetlands area with many rare birds. There's a penguin enclosure which houses a colony of several dozen Humboldt penguins. There's a butterfly garden, a raptor center, and a trail of adaptations building that is home to Komodo dragon and a meerkat. The zoo contains an indoor children's play area called Zoomasium. And these are the 6 amazing things to see near Seattle, Washington.